In the glowing lights of London's BBC studios, an episode of The Graham Norton Show was about to make headlines across the world. It wasn't just another celebrity interview, it was Prince Harry, live, in front of a global audience. The energy backstage was buzzing, but hidden beneath the jokes and red sofas was an atmosphere thick with anticipation. As the music intro faded, Graham Norton greeted the roaring crowd with his usual grin. "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a very special guest, a man who's been in the headlines for all the right and wrong reasons. Please welcome Prince Harry." The audience applauded as Harry stepped onto the set, dressed in a sharp grey suit. His expression was polite but restrained. Graham extended his hand warmly, though his eyes held the sparkle of curiosity, the kind that comes before a hard question. They exchanged pleasantries. "How are you finding life these days, Harry?" Graham asked lightly. Harry smiled faintly. "It's good, different, but fulfilling. A lot of change, but a lot of growth too. The early moments were comfortable, safe topics like charity work, family life, and upcoming projects." Harry laughed along, his demeanor calm and professional. But Graham, being who he was, couldn't resist pushing boundaries. "So," he began, leaning forward slightly, "you've spoken about stepping back from royal duties and finding freedom. But, do you ever miss it? The titles, the traditions, the castle life?" Harry's smile wavered. "There are things you always remember fondly," he said carefully. "But life's not about titles. It's about purpose." Graham nodded but pressed further. "Right, but some people think you've traded duty for publicity, that leaving the monarchy only made you more visible. You've been in documentaries, interviews, even books. Doesn't that contradict the idea of stepping back?" The audience murmured. The question hung in the air. Harry's jaw tightened, but he kept his composure. "I think it's easy to judge from the outside. What people see as publicity is often an attempt to control the narrative, to speak for myself, not be spoken for." Graham chuckled softly. "Fair enough, but the irony, Prince Harry, is that the more you try to control the narrative, the more the media follows you." That line hit harder than expected. Harry's eyes narrowed slightly. "Maybe the media should look in the mirror once in a while. I'm here to talk about work that helps people, not to justify my existence." The air changed instantly. The laughter died down. The audience felt the tension, not loud, but sharp. Graham tried to ease it. Of course," he said with a half-smile, "but surely you understand that people are curious, it's part of the job, being public." Harry leaned forward, his voice measured but firm. "Being public doesn't mean being prey, Graham." A few gasps escaped the crowd. Graham blinked, surprised. "Prey's a strong word." Harry didn't back down. "You know what's strong? Living your life being hounded by cameras, headlines, and opinions that twist everything you say. You've made a career out of talking, I've made one out of surviving it." The studio went dead quiet. Graham sat back, his expression unreadable for a moment. "Harry, we're just having a conversation." Harry's tone hardened. "No, this isn't a conversation. It's a setup. You wanted a viral clip, congratulations." He unclipped his microphone. The crowd began to murmur. Graham leaned forward, half in disbelief. "Harry, come on, we're live." Harry stood up. "Then let them see what real boundaries look like." With that, he walked off the stage, the red lights reflecting off his suit. Cameras caught every step. Graham, momentarily speechless, turned toward the audience with an awkward laugh. "Well, that's one way to end a royal interview." The audience gave a nervous round of applause as the show abruptly cut to a musical performance. Backstage, chaos. Producers scrambled to manage the fallout. Some whispered that Harry had been provoked, others said he'd overreacted. The control room phones rang non-stop, BBC executives demanding explanations. Within minutes, clips of the walkout flooded social media. #HarryWalksOut and #Graham Norton Show trended worldwide. One clip of Harry saying, "You wanted a viral clip, congratulations," spread across Twitter like wildfire. The next morning, the British tabloids had a field day. "Prince storms out on live TV," screamed one headline. Another read, "Norton left speechless as Harry loses his cool." But not everyone saw it that way. Some praised Harry's composure, saying he finally stood up against media provocation. Others criticized him for lacking grace, calling it another royal tantrum. Later that week, Graham Norton addressed the incident briefly on his radio show. "It was unexpected," he said calmly. "But live television is unpredictable. I respect Harry's decision, even if it caught us all off guard." Meanwhile, Harry's spokesperson released a short statement. Prince Harry participated in the interview in good faith but felt the tone became disrespectful. He stands by his decision to leave. Behind the scenes, people close to Harry described the moment as a boiling point. The relentless media scrutiny, the ongoing speculation about his family, and the constant questioning had finally pushed him too far. But something interesting happened in the aftermath. For the first time, a significant part of the public empathized with him. Even people who had criticized him before admitted that constant interrogation about personal matters had to be exhausting. Entertainment analysts debated the moment endlessly. Some said it was one of the most iconic walkouts in live TV history. Others saw it as a defining cultural clash, between old-school journalism and a generation demanding respect for privacy. Days later, Graham Norton was seen leaving the BBC headquarters, cameras flashing around him. "No hard feelings," he told reporters with a grin. "That's television, sometimes it bites back." But for Harry, the walkout symbolized more than just a viral moment. It was a personal declaration, a line drawn in the sand. He wasn't just defending himself, he was reclaiming the narrative one last time. A week later, paparazzi captured Harry driving through Santa Barbara in a sleek black Range Rover, sunglasses on, expression calm. In a quiet way, he had made his point, again. Not through another interview, not through another headline, but through silence. The clip continued to dominate global news cycles for weeks. YouTube channels dissected it frame by frame. Body language experts analyzed every gesture. But at the heart of it all, one truth stood out: Prince Harry had reached his limit. As the story reached its final echo, the closing scene rolled in, a cinematic drive through Beverly Hills at night. The camera panned over 5 luxury cars gliding through glowing streets: a Rolls-Royce Ghost, a Mercedes Maybach, a Bentley Mulsanne, a Ferrari Portofino, and finally, a black Aston Martin Vantage, sleek, silent, and powerful. The vehicles represented control, freedom, and dignity, everything Harry had been searching for beyond the chaos of the spotlight. A deep, cinematic voice concluded softly. In a world built on words and headlines, silence can be the loudest statement of all. The screen faded to black. The familiar closing line from the channel echoed gently. "This is Story Vault, where truth walks out, but never disappears." The outro music played, subtle, reflective, powerful, leaving viewers not just entertained, but thinking. Because in that studio, beneath the lights and laughter, history had witnessed another royal moment, not of power, but of defiance.